Greetings. Today I have some box division, but to make it a little bit more interesting, since it's box division, we're going to do a box of jokes. So each one of these problems has a letter associated with it, C-A-C-K-O-L, and if you find the answer and you write the letter above the appropriate answer, it'll give you an answer to a joke. And I have about 6 jokes for you to work on. You'll notice that some of them tell you what you're working on. Like this says 3-digit dividends and no remainders. What is a dividend? Well, that would be the part that's getting divided. So this number in the middle is what's being divided. So this problem, like if you look at this one that says C, the problem is 156 divided by 6. This is the dividend, this number here that's getting split up into equal groups, and this here 6 is the divisor. So oftentimes we see it written like this. Regularly we see it written like this, but we're going to be doing box division today. And I love all of the colors because the colors help you find the numbers, and you have to ask yourself to do 3 things. How many fit, multiply, and subtract. And if you do it 3 times, since there's 3 boxes, you'll have your answer. So let's give it a try. So if I said, how many 6s fit inside of the number 1? I'm hoping that you would say, well, no 6s fit inside of number 1. 1's not big enough to fit a 6. Okay, great. Step 2 is to multiply. So I'm going to take whatever I wrote in this box, multiply it times the divisor, and then write it here. 0 times 6 is 0. And what was the third step? Subtract. 1 minus nothing, or 1 minus 0, is 1. And you see that they are already setting you up with this arrow to start the next box. So whatever I write here, I do what it says. Write that answer right there, which is a 1. And now I have a new number in this box. I have the number 15. And then I do my 3 steps again. Step number 1, how many 6s fit inside of 15? Well, when I was counting by multiples of 6, when I was thinking like, well, 6 times 1 is 6, 6 times 2 is 12, 6 times 3 is 18. Well, 18 is too big. So 2 6s fit inside of 15. So if 2 6s fit in 15, I write the 2 above, and then I do step 2, which is to multiply. 2 times 6 is 12. I write it in the box. And now I'm ready. Oops, excuse me, I didn't mean for that to happen. And now I'm ready to subtract. 15 minus 12. 15 minus 12 is 3. I did my 3 steps. And as you can see, I have the arrow that's telling me, oh, it's time to move that answer up to the next box. And I like that it's colored. So this green box, just put it in the next green box. And now I have 36 here that I'm going to work with. And I say, how many 6s, so we're starting over with our 3 steps. How many 6s fit in 36? Well, this is a fun math fact. 6 times 6 is 36. So 6 is what I'm going to write above. Step 2 is to multiply. Whatever you write here, you're going to take times the divisor. 6 times 6 is 36. So you're going to write that below. Now you can subtract. 36 minus 36, well, that's 0, right? If you get to your last box, right, which is down here, this last step, right? We started over here and worked our way here and then worked our way here. If you get to here and that's a 0, there's no remainder, which means this is my answer. 0, I can forget about that because 0, 2, 6 is just 26. So what is the answer to 156 divided by 6? 26. So that is my answer. I am done. There is no remainder. And if you remember up here, it said no remainders. So we know on this page we should always have a 0 in that last box. If you get to your last step and this is not a 0 on this page, oh gosh, there might be something wrong. Let's do another. Okay, I'm going over here to this next box. You know what? Let me skip down. Let's do this one here. So my 3 steps. How many fit? Multiply, subtract. Okay. How many 9s fit in 9? 1 9 does. Step 2 is to multiply. 1 times 9. Well, 1 times 9 is 9. Step 3 is to subtract. 9 minus 9. Hey, that's a 0. That's nice. Nice, easy subtraction. Now I'm going to do exactly what it says. Move that red box up to that red box. This 0 goes here. The nice part is that 0 doesn't do anything to this number, right? If that was a 1, this would be 18. If it was a 7, this would be 78. But since that's a 0, this is just the number 8. So I say, how many 9s, we're starting our steps over, fit in 8? Oh gosh, unfortunately 8's not big enough. No 9s fit in the number 8. And that's okay. 0 times 9 is step 2. Well, that's 0. Step 3 is subtract. 8 minus 0. Well, if you don't take anything away, the number's still number 8. And then I'm going to do what it says. Write that green box into the next green box. And then I start my 3 steps over again. How many 9s fit in 81? The fun part about that is that it's a fun math fact. 9 times 9 equals 81. So when it says how many 9s fit in 81, well, exactly 9 of them do. Step 2 is we're going to multiply 9 times 9. We just said the answer is 81, so I write it in the box below. Now I can do step 3, which is subtract. 81 minus 81. Get rid of all of them. Now it's a 0. Once again, if there's supposed to be no remainders, this should be a 0. If you get to the end of a no remainders page and you don't have a 0 here, probably made a mistake on the way, then that's okay. You can go back and check your work, ask for some help. But our answer to the question of what is 981 divided by 9, right? Because that's our original problem here, 981 divided by 9. Well, the answer is 109. That's our answer right here. 981 divided by 9 is 109. And then I would write that letter L above this answer down here. So if I find 109, which I just did right there, I'm going to write an L. And eventually you'll have an answer to the joke. On the next page, it says 4-digit dividends, no remainders. The only thing that's different about this page is that there's just one more set of boxes. But you should still have a 0 here if you've done it correctly. But the steps are still the same. How many 5s fit in 7? Write it up here. Multiply, write it down here. Subtract, move your box up and start over. Okay, so I'm not going to spend time redoing this one just because you already know it, but I am going to show you the next one. This says 3-digit dividends plus remainders. So you see that there's that little R in the box. That means that this answer is not going to be a 0, and you're going to write it up here as your remainder. So let's do one of these. How many 2s fit in the number 6? 3 of them do. And I know that because 3 times 2 is 6. Step 3 is subtract. 6 minus 6. 0. Now I follow the arrow up and write that answer in there. I just have the number 1 now. 0, 1 is just 1. Now I start over. How many 2s fit in the number 1? Oh, 1 is not big enough for any 2s, so that's a 0. Do step 2. 0 times 2. 0. Step 3, subtract. 1 minus 0. Follow the arrow up and write your answer. Now it looks like I'm working with an 11 here. How many 2s fit in 11? Well, 1 2 is 2. 2 2s is, 2 2s is 4. 3 2s is 6. 4 2s is 8. 5 2s is 10. 6 2s is 12, so that's too big. So it's going to be 6. I can fit 6 2s in the number 11. 6 times 2 is 10. Step 3, subtract 11 minus 10. That 1 is going to go up as your remainder. So the answer to the question, which I'll write maybe up here, what is 611 divided by 2? Well, that's 306, remainder 1. And that's our problem. 611 divided by 2, 611 divided by 2, is this answer here, 306, remainder 1. On future pages, it's just 4 digits with remainders. The next page is a mixture where you may have a remainder or not. Just because there's a remainder doesn't mean there has to be one. That's why it says mix. The final page also says 4-digit remainder dividends mix, which means that some may have a remainder, some may not. So in some of these, look, they didn't even put a remainder box on a couple of these because there will be no remainder. So you'll have a mixture of some with remainders and some with not, and hopefully you'll have a funny answer to your joke up here. Okay, if you have questions, make sure you ask a teacher.